Definitely, Apple is still on the race. And what they decided to do this year was to be very cautious on the announcements, not to overpromise on AI and the features that they could potentially not be able to deliver in the short term. That's what happened last year. There was this race to catch up with competitors, and they messed it up, to be honest, and because they were not able to live to the expectation of the promises they made on stage. And that's what they did avoid to do this year. They stepped back, they went basic to the basics, and which is basically to guarantee they provide the best experience to their customers. And that's what they are doing with the announcements around Apple Intelligence and the features that use the Apple models to improve the experience. They didn't even mention or touch, as you mentioned, about the Siri, which is delayed for next year. And they focused on what really matters to most consumers today, which is the design, the look and feel of the device, the experience, and of course, with new hardware coming in September and the combination with the new user interface, that could become a very interesting proposition. Because today, from our research, most consumers don't buy a flagship device because of the AI capabilities. They buy because there's a very good camera, very good display, etc., not necessarily because there's the latest AI features. And some of the other competitors that are pushing the bar on AI, they are not necessarily selling more devices because of AI. They are selling more devices because the other features that consumers really value.
You know, the competition is still racing ahead with generative AI, though, and this is where the global technology ecosystem is focusing in on. What investors also want to see from Apple here is some vision for the future about how they are going to incorporate this technology, and not just incorporate, but become a market leader in this space. So what is the excuse for these delays and the reason we haven't seen Apple actually coming forward with a game-changing product that can move the market?
Exactly. So Apple still has some time to catch up, but they need to show that vision, because at the end of the day, they need to show they are capable of delivering. And more importantly, what does this vision mean to their customers? What does AI mean to all of us? And what they are saying is that AI is not just a gimmick feature that will be available on the iPhone or the Mac, etc. It's a disruptive technology that will change the way we interact with content, the way the content will become more useful, personal to us. And that's why they put so much focus on the security, on the privacy of the data. And we see other competitors, particularly the likes of Google, met in different areas to really push the bar in terms of AI. And AI can be the technology that make or break Apple, because there's no other technology today that can be so detrimental to Apple as AI. So they need to get it right. But at the end of the day, they still have time. Their customers are not moving to other devices because they are not up to the expectation of the AI capabilities. So they still have time to catch up and to bring the best experience. Apple was never put speed over quality. And that's why they need to focus on the experience. Of course, if this conversation happens in 3 or 4 or 5 years' time, then it's a completely different story, because the risk will be much higher. The same way as Apple is trying to catch up, their competitors are moving faster and faster. So next year will be a very important year for Apple to show whether they can really deliver on the promise. They didn't deliver last year. And this year, they were very clear, we need another year. So let's see what happens next year to see if they really bring that vision. I believe they are on track to deliver that vision, maybe at a slower pace than some of their competitors, but they are speeding up. And some of the announcements this week, by opening the models, the Apple models, to developers, which will enhance the experience of the apps, I think they are in the right direction.